Earlier this week, the Falcons went out and signed Jordan Fuller, safety from the Carolina Panthers. He also worked with Raheem Morris back in LA, and he also won a championship while being a key contributor on that team. A lot of people saw this signing and they were not pleased with it, considering he played on the worst defense of all time. I'm not even exaggerating. However, I think with his ties to Raheem Morris and his success in having his best seasons with Raheem Morris, I think this is a great signing. So if you take a look at his 2023 season with Raheem Morris and then his 2024 season without him, you see there is a clear difference. However, I will say for the Panthers, when he was on the team, he was dealing with an injury, but you can also see there is a noticeable increase of production when he's with Raheem Morris, and he's also had a better season than this, arguably. So like I said, I think with him coming back to a system that he's comfortable with, we're going to be able to maximize him and get a very good safety out of this. But I'm not going to hold you up any longer. Let's go ahead and get into the film and show y'all why I think this could be a sneakily good signing. So like I said earlier, he had his best years with the Rams, so I would naturally assume that Raheem Morris would want to implement things that best suited him, and that would be quarters looks, right? Now, we ran that stuff last year and I have my opinions on it. I don't think quarters is a bad defense, but when you had two safeties in Justin Simmons and Jesse Bates, where their best attributes were being anticipatory, cerebral, all of that, being ball hawks, and their best reading the quarterback and not receivers, because that's what quarters is. You're reading the receivers instead of the quarterback, okay? So they aren't able to be as free as they should have. Guys like Jordan Fuller, who's not as cerebral or anticipatory as Justin or Jesse, they're probably best in quarters because they're looking at receivers and they're able to play from depth. Not saying Jesse and Justin couldn't play from depth, because they could, but they were best at reading the quarterback and not the receiver. So basically what we got here, he's reading the number 2 receiver, right? But they're going to switch release. So he's going to become the new number 1. He's going to clear him out, right? And then AJ Brown's going to release inside and break back out. And it's pretty much like a sail concept. So quarters, pretty much the safety towards the 2 receivers, or is really on either side, right? The safety right here, he's responsible for the number 2 receiver. So if he declares vertical, he's got him man to man. It doesn't matter where he goes at that point because the route has declared vertical, okay? So when we watch this play out, let's look at how he plays it from depth, okay? So like I said, they're going to switch release, and he's like the way he's playing catch technique is perfect right here, because he's staying square to AJ Brown. Now he gives up his leverage, or he gives up his hand rather. Okay, I want you to break outside because he's playing inside leverage, okay? He's protecting the post like he should have, right? And so once he jumps inside of him, he breaks back out and he gets separated a little bit, but however, he's able to get back into the hip pocket and he's able to break that ball up, which is good. The separation part, you know, it kind of happens because that is AJ Brown. He's a top 5 receiver in the league for a reason, but great job on getting back into the picture and disrupting the catch. So we're sticking with the quarters cutups on this one right here, but this time they're playing cover 6 or quarter half or cover 9, whatever you want to call it. So basically you're playing cover 4 on this side of the field right here, and then you're playing cover 2 on this side of the field. But the way this plays out is not country zone, because what's happening with the offense is they're running this deep curl and a deep over route by Hollywood Brown. So the way this is playing out with the defense is they're going to initially double team him because he's declared his route vertical. And so since this tight end is going across right here to block like a sift block, that leaves this safety over to double team. And since this tight end is also blocking, that means this guy right here, Jordan Fuller, he's able to double team Hollywood Brown on this route right here. It's getting a little bit messy, but you get the point. And so initially I thought it was just a 5-man pressure, but what happens is Byron Young, or whoever he is, he blitzes initially, but then he peels off with the running back. And so initially when we watch this play out, you're going to see he gets a little bit too much depth on when he's guarding this deep over route. But however, he's able to get back in this picture. Once again, like I said, now Kyler, you put a lot of air on this ball. I'm not going to lie. Because if that's any other quarterback, he's throwing this on the line, and that's a big play down the field, right? But good thing he got back into it. And I also think, and I'm just being negative here, if this is a bigger receiver, this probably isn't a PBU, because Hollywood, he's like 5'9", 5'10", but way to play through the hands, okay? This is a great textbook play when the ball's in the air and at the catch point, right? You're playing through the hands and he punches down and the ball comes out. Great play by Jordan Fuller right here. This is the last coverage rep I want to look at. So what the Cardinals are doing, this is 4th and 2, mind you. They're running a sail concept, which pretty much is flood, right? So what he's going to do, he's going to release inside and break back out. And this is what Jordan Fuller's guarding. You're going to run a post to clear it out. You alert this versus quarters, so you probably could have hit this, honestly, because it seems like that's what they were in. and then you have your running back releasing fast to the flat. Okay, now the rest of the routes that are going on, Rondale Moore's going to motion over, and then Kyle's going to re-motion him over, and he's going to run this trail route basically. And then Hollywood Brown is going to run this drag route across the field, and you pretty much got your full field concept right here. So like I said, I think the Rams were in quarters, or at least a version of it, but what we're focusing on is Jordan Fuller right here and this sail route, like I said. So he's playing it from depth, and he plays it perfectly, and it got Kyler to hesitate on this. So when we watch this play out, and we're going to watch it real quick, so we're going to see he's going to motion him back over, and he's going to get his eyes over to the right side of the field. Okay, and so initially he checks to the flat. Okay, that's not there because he's coming down playing from depth. Then he gets his eyes over to the sail route, and he doesn't like it initially because he's thinking, okay, Jordan Fuller can probably break on this in time, and then he subtly moves his eyes over here to Hollywood Brown, which makes him late because he comes back across to this sail route. I was like, oh shit, it's actually open. And so then he actually throws it, and it's behind Trey McBride, and look at that, playing through the hands once again, 4th and 2, and the defense gets off the field. Check out our coach right here, bro. He's hyped too. So yeah, these are the cover snaps of what I think he can bring to the Falcons. So let's get into his run defense. So the first run defense snap I want to look at is against the Bucks from this year. So what the Bucks are running run scheme wise, they're running something called power. We talked about this last video. So basically the tight end, he's going to short motion over, and he's going to kick out the end on the line of scrimmage, and then you have your guard. He's going to be the lead blocker on this play. But what we're paying attention to as far as the run defense is this right here. So what we call this for defense is crack replace. So what happens is the receivers are always taught to block the safeties because the corners are the most least capable tacklers, and they do not want to tackle. Okay, so what they're going to do is they're going to crack Jordan Fuller, and Mike Jackson is supposed to replace him in the run fit. So that's what happens. But like I said before in the run defense video with Devon Diablo, run defense is also a team thing because one person can't just look bad by himself most times, right? But in this situation, Mike Jackson does his job, right? So let's watch it play out. So like I said, short motion into this power run. You have your kick out, and then your lead kind of gets stuck right here. We're going to come over here and pay attention to this crack block right here as well. He's going to get, he took on that block, and he's able to get back into the play and make a stop on the run. Like, this is what we like to see. He's a willing run defender, this is what we need. Takes on the block like a grown man, and then stops him for a short gain. This is what we can work with, y'all. Come on. All right, so this play right here against the Eagles, they are running something called GT counter. So that means it's a counter play, right? So the guard is going to kick out, and then the tackle is going to be the lead blocker, and you have Saquon. His footwork is he's going to shuffle this way, and then he's going to get the handoff, right? That's basically what's happening. And then the tight end over here, he's pretty much checking for any second level blitzer, and he's going to pretty much peel out and seal anybody from the backside. And one thing I love about Jordan Fuller when I'm watching his run defense is that he's a great guy when we're talking about backside contain, because this run is going towards the top of the screen, and he's right here at the bottom, right? So we're gonna see they get this counter action going, and it gets stuffed up pretty well front side. So he has to work, Saquon Barkley, he has to work all the way backside, and he pretty much mirrors the running back like a linebacker. Look, so when he comes and shuffles, Jordan Fuller's also shuffling too because he's ready for that cutback. And he's able to stay clean, get away from number 89, and he's able to get a good tackle. He's able to not necessarily tackle him, but he's able to trip him up and pretty much let him, get a 2-yard gain on this. This is the stuff you see from linebackers, like I said, where he's coming down, Saquon starts to shuffle, get that jump cut going, and he's shuffling too with him. And look at that. He's able to stay disciplined. Saquon breaks one tackle, but he's not going to break from Jordan Fuller. He's also fighting through a block too. So this is stuff we like to work with. So the Cowboys, they're doing the zone run towards the bottom of the screen. So like I said before, zone running is not necessarily like a gap scheme where they're attacking a certain gap. They're just looking to create lateral movement and create double teams to get to the second level. But what they do here is they have a fullback come through and block this linebacker right here. But like I said in the previous clip, Jordan Fuller's backside contain is so good because when this run lane opens up on the backside, where this cutback lane opens up on the backside, right? Once again, it's another great job front side by the run defense, but the backside gap for the cutback is open, and look who's filling it right on time, Jordan Fuller, and he's able to get a good stop on this run. Now So this last run defense clip I want to show y'all, the Cowboys, they're running zone to the top of the screen this time. But what they're doing is they're going to have him kick out the end man of the line of scrimmage, pretty much like a sift block, but they're going to create double teams with the tight end over here to the linebacker basically. And so another thing I also liked about him in his run defense, when he's filling late, which our scheme last year, it required our safeties to do, is to fill late because we love that too high safety look. When he's filling late, he's not necessarily just watching stuff. He's actually attacking a gap. And this is what I like. So that he's more instinctual of a run defender than Justin Simmons, and I dare I say Jesse Bates, even though he's a damn good run defender himself. So once again, this is a pretty much a decent job front side as far as containing this run. But like I said, this cutback lane is going to open up once again, and look who's in the lane of it. Jordan Fuller. And he stops him where he makes contact 2 yards down the field from the line of scrimmage, but he doesn't have the stopping power, so they get about 5 yards because he fell forward. But like I said, his ability to fill late in the box from a too high look is pretty good as well. And this is something that we pretty much needed because we couldn't tackle for shit last year. So is this an upgrade over Justin Simmons? I would say yes and no. I would say yes because his run defense is way better than Justin Simmons compared to last year. Now, I do think their whole run defense was a team issue because you can't say Justin Simmons was a bad tackler when everybody was a bad tackler. I think that was on coaching because they did like a lot of practices where they weren't even hitting, right? But to get back on topic, I do think this is an upgrade over Justin Simmons as far as run defense because he's a better run defender. But I think as far as pass coverage wise, it's a little bit of a downgrade because Justin Simmons was a steady pass defender. The only thing was he just was not a good tackler, but a lot of people were not good at tackling on this defense. So he brings a short tackler and a great run defender, and we can still run our quarters looks because quarters looks, they require the safeties to be in the run fit. So bringing him in who can play in the run and cover out of quarters is a good pickup for us. And if I had to grade this on, I'd probably say a 6, which could be at least an 8 or 9 because like I said, he worked with Raheem Morris and he had his best years with Raheem Morris. But as of right now, it's a 6. But if y'all want me to do anybody else, just go ahead and let me know and I'll get on that. This is all from today's video, and I'll see you guys later next video. Peace out.